Hey, dear friend. Welcome back to the channel. I'm really grateful that you're here with me today. Before we begin, I want to invite you to join our community by subscribing. This channel is all about growing together, gently, calmly, and with intention. If you're someone who wants to build the better version of yourself step by step, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Now, take a breath, and let's start. Part 1. Understanding people, the quiet foundation of every relationship. There is a quiet truth that most people forget, a truth that sits behind every relationship, every conversation, every conflict, and every success we experience in life. That truth is this: human beings are not controlled by logic. They are guided by emotion. We often imagine that life is about winning arguments, proving we're right, or showing others the correct way. But when we approach people with criticism or judgment, something inside them closes. Their pride rises, their defenses activate, and the connection breaks before it even starts. People don't change because they're told to. People change because they feel understood. And this is where our journey begins. The first principle: never attack a person's pride. When someone makes a mistake, our natural reaction is to correct them, to tell them they're wrong, or even to express frustration. But criticism, even when it's true, rarely improves a situation. In fact, it often makes things worse. Think about a time someone criticized you. Even if they were right, did you feel inspired to do better? Probably not. Most likely, you felt defensive, misunderstood, or even hurt. This isn't weakness, it's human nature. A person's sense of importance, their pride, their identity, is fragile. When we criticize someone, we step on that sense of importance. We take something from them. We make them feel smaller. And when people feel smaller, they don't learn. They resist. The power of understanding instead of judging. Instead of criticizing, try asking yourself, why did they act this way? What pressure are they under? What fear or need drives them? This shift creates a completely different energy. When you understand, you soften. When you soften, the other person can finally open. And when they open, change becomes possible. Understanding someone doesn't mean agreeing with them. It simply means seeing them as human. When we stop judging and start understanding, relationships transform silently. You don't even need to ask someone to change. They often change themselves because they finally feel safe. People are creatures of emotion, not logic. You and I both wake up every morning with desires, fears, insecurities, hopes, and silent battles. So does everyone around us. Here's the quiet truth. Every person you meet is fighting to protect their sense of importance. They may express it differently. Some fight for attention, some hide behind confidence, some defend themselves constantly, some withdraw, some attack, some seek approval, some seek love, some seek recognition. But beneath all that noise, there is one universal desire: the desire to matter. When you understand this, relationships become easier. Life becomes softer. You stop taking things personally. You stop fighting battles that have no winner. When people feel unimportant, they complain, argue, criticize, show off, or defend themselves endlessly. But when people feel valued, they blossom. Principle 2. Give honest appreciation, not empty praise. There's something beautiful about the human spirit. It grows when it's nurtured. And one of the simplest ways to nurture someone is through appreciation. Not flattery, not manipulation, but genuine acknowledgement. Appreciation is powerful because it feeds the deepest hunger of the human heart, the hunger to feel valued. Think of someone in your life right now who truly deserves appreciation. Maybe a family member, a partner, a friend, a coworker, or even someone who rarely gets noticed, like a cleaner, a security guard, or a delivery worker. What would happen if you simply told them, "I really appreciate what you do"? Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just honest. That one small sentence can lift their mood, reduce their stress, strengthen your relationship, create trust, and inspire them to do even better. And the beautiful part? It costs nothing, but it means everything. Why most people fail to give appreciation? People often forget to appreciate others because they're too busy. They assume the other person already knows. They're focused on mistakes, not effort. They grew up without hearing appreciation themselves. They're uncomfortable expressing emotions. But appreciation is like water. Relationships dry up without it. Once you make appreciation a habit, people will gravitate toward you naturally, not because you're impressive, but because you make them feel seen. Principle 3. Make people want to cooperate. Don't force them. Here is one of the quiet secrets that can change the course of your life. You cannot force someone to do anything. You can only inspire them to want to do it. This is true in business, friendships, marriage, leadership, parenting, teamwork, and everyday conversations. Whenever you push people, they push back. Whenever you pressure them, they resist. Whenever you demand, they retreat. But when you invite, they respond. When you inspire, they participate. When you respect, they show effort. Create desire, not resistance. Instead of asking, "How can I make this person listen to me?" ask, "How can I make this meaningful for them? What do they want? What problem of theirs can I help solve?" When people feel that your intention is to help, not control, they open the door instead of locking it. This is what creates long-term cooperation. A soft reminder before ending part 1. People remember less what you say and more how you make them feel. The world is full of criticism, noise, pressure, and judgment. What people rarely experience is softness, gentleness, and genuine interest. If you can be the person who understands instead of judging, who appreciates instead of ignoring, and who inspires instead of forcing, then people will naturally be drawn to you. This isn't manipulation. This is humanity. And it is the first step toward becoming someone people trust, admire, and want to follow.
Part 2. How to make people feel understood, valued, and drawn toward you. Becoming someone people truly like to be around. Have you ever noticed how some people naturally make others feel comfortable? They do nothing flashy. They don't try to impress anyone. They simply make you feel good. These people seem to attract friendships, create opportunities, and move through life with smoother connections. This isn't a gift. It's a skill, and you can learn it. Today, we'll explore several gentle principles that help you become someone people genuinely like, not through manipulation, but through sincerity. Human connection begins with something surprisingly simple: making people feel seen. Principle 1. Show genuine interest in other people. There is a quiet kind of respect that appears when someone truly pays attention to us. Not just hearing our words, but listening with presence, with warmth, with curiosity. Most people go through their day without feeling deeply noticed. They walk in crowds, they speak, they work, they smile, but inside they feel invisible. When you show true interest in someone, you give them a rare gift. What genuine interest looks like: asking questions with warmth, listening more than talking, remembering small details, caring about their feelings, not just their answers, noticing their passions, struggles, and joys, making them feel important without exaggeration. People know when your interest is real. They can feel it, and they respond. Why this works? Because everyone has a story they wish someone cared about. Everyone. And when you become the person who cares, even for a moment, you leave an imprint that lasts far longer than you imagine. Principle 2. Smile, not with your mouth, but with your energy. A genuine smile is not a shape on your face, it's a message from your soul. Some people smile with their lips, but not with their eyes. Others smile with their energy, even before their face changes. A real smile says, "I'm glad you're here. You matter." And people feel it instantly. A warm smile creates trust, comfort, openness, safety, friendliness. In a world full of stress and tension, a simple smile is a soft invitation to relax. A gentle truth. Your smile is one of the few things that can brighten someone's day without costing you anything. Principle 3. Use someone's name. It is the most personal word they know. A person's name carries their identity. It's the sound they've heard since childhood, a sound tied to their emotions, their memories, their sense of self. When you use someone's name sincerely, they feel acknowledged, they feel seen, they feel respected, they feel connected. You transform a simple interaction into a personal moment. This is especially powerful when greeting someone, thanking someone, complimenting someone, apologizing, or ending a conversation. But remember, it must be sincere. Never force it. Let it come naturally, softly. Principle 4. Become a good listener. Let people feel heard. Listening is one of the most underrated forms of love. Most people don't listen. They wait for their turn to speak. They interrupt. They jump in with their opinions. They rush others. They change the topic. They respond without understanding. But when you truly listen, something magical happens. People open their hearts. Real listening means being present, not interrupting, allowing silence, asking gentle questions, showing empathy, not judgment, reflecting their feelings back. When someone finally feels heard, their tension melts, their defenses fall, their trust grows. Not because you solved their problems, but because you honored their feelings. Principle 5. Talk about what matters to them, not just to you. This principle is simple, but extremely powerful. Every person you meet has passions, dreams, fears, goals, memories, struggles, and when you talk with them using their language, about what they care about, they feel understood in a rare way. Here is what most people do. They talk about their day, their work, their achievements, their opinions, their problems. They may be kind, but their focus is still inward. But here is what magnetic people do. They talk about your hobbies, your dreams, your interests, your passions, your story. And people never forget them, because we rarely meet someone who cares about our world. When you show curiosity, you step into someone's emotional universe, and suddenly, you're not just another person. You're someone meaningful. Principle 6. Give compliments that touch the heart, not the ego. Surface compliments sound like, "Nice shirt," "Cool haircut," "I like your shoes." There's nothing wrong with them, but they fade quickly. Deep compliments, however, stay with people for years. These are compliments about effort, character, kindness, resilience, intelligence, sincerity, improvement, integrity. For example, "I really admire how patiently you handle stressful situations. You always bring calm energy to the room. You listen in a way that makes others feel safe. Your dedication inspires me." These kinds of compliments feed the soul, not the vanity, and people never forget the person who notices the beauty inside them. Principle 7. Don't pretend. Let your good intentions be real. People are better at reading emotion than we think. They can sense fake interest, forced friendliness, hidden motives, rehearsed warmth, fake compliments. Humans have emotional antennas, and these antennas are very sensitive. So the key is to be genuine, not perfect, not overly sweet, not fake friendly, just sincere. Let your kindness come from a real place. Let your curiosity be honest. Let your intentions be pure. When your energy is clean, people feel safe around you without knowing why. Deepening connection. How to make people feel appreciated. We've talked about the foundations. Now let's move deeper into how appreciation, when done right, can completely transform your interactions. Most people think appreciation means saying thank you, but true appreciation is far more powerful. Real appreciation means noticing effort, valuing intention, acknowledging progress, recognizing uniqueness, affirming worth, celebrating qualities hidden from others. People long to be appreciated not for what they have, but for who they are. A gentle art, making people feel seen. Look around your life. There are so many people who go unnoticed. People who work silently in the background, who carry responsibilities without applause, who keep giving without receiving enough acknowledgement. Someone's small daily efforts may be invisible to the world, but they shouldn't be invisible to you. When you appreciate someone sincerely, you heal something inside them. You strengthen the bond. You inspire connection. And you become someone they trust. And most importantly, you remind them that their existence matters. Principle 8. Let others shine. There is a quiet beauty in becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to take the spotlight, but instead holds the light for others. People feel safe with someone who doesn't compete unnecessarily, who doesn't try to one-up them, who doesn't dominate conversations, who doesn't make everything about themselves, who doesn't take credit for everything. When you let others shine, you become rare. You become someone people naturally admire because your confidence is quiet, warm, and generous. The gentle power of humility. Humility doesn't mean thinking of yourself less. It means thinking of yourself less. People love being around someone who gives them emotional space, and this is exactly the kind of person you become through these principles. Principle 9. Avoid arguments. They don't bring connection. Here is one of the softest but most powerful truths. The moment a conversation becomes a battle, everyone loses. You can win the argument and lose the person. You can prove your point and break the connection. Arguments rarely end in agreement. They usually end in resentment. But when you let go of the desire to be right, you create room for understanding, empathy, and
Part 3.
How to gently influence people without pressure, control, or conflict. Take a deep breath. Release any tension. Let's continue our walk into the deeper side of human connection. Today, we're exploring something delicate. How to influence others in a peaceful, respectful, and sincere way. Without force, without manipulation, without pressure. Just gentle influence born from understanding. Let's begin. The art of guiding people without making them feel controlled. Many people misunderstand influence. They think it means dominating others, pushing them, correcting them, or convincing them. But true influence is the opposite. Real influence is invisible, soft, quiet, and deeply respectful. It works with human nature, not against it. Let's explore how. Principle 1. You can't win people by pointing out they're wrong. There's a truth most people don't want to admit. No one likes to be told they're wrong, even when they are. When someone feels attacked, even gently, they will defend themselves, justify their actions, resist your message, protect their pride, close their heart. This is human nature. If you want someone to consider your perspective, you need to preserve their dignity. A soft alternative. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," "That's not true," or "You misunderstood," try something like, "I might be wrong, but here's how I see it." Or, "That's interesting. Let's explore it together." Or, "You may be right. Can we look at this angle too?" These gentle phrases do something powerful. They lower defenses. They invite conversation. They make the person feel respected, not defeated. When someone doesn't feel attacked, they're far more open to listening. Principle 2. Admit your own mistakes quickly and calmly. There is something deeply disarming about humility. When you admit your mistakes openly, you remove tension. You prevent arguments. You build trust. You show maturity. You lead by example. People expect defensiveness. They're prepared to resist. But when you take responsibility without excuses, you surprise them. You show them strength, not weakness. A truth most people forget. People follow those who can admit when they're wrong. People trust those who can apologize sincerely. People connect with those who aren't afraid to be human. And when you model accountability, others instinctively soften. They feel safe enough to acknowledge their own mistakes too. Principle 3. Begin every conversation with gentleness, not accusation. Imagine two doors in a conversation. Door 1. The door of accusation. When you start with blame, criticism, or harshness, the person shuts down. The mind becomes defensive. The heart closes. Door 2. The door of softness. When you start with understanding, appreciation, or calmness, tension reduces, trust increases, warmth grows, cooperation appears. The first few seconds of a conversation determine everything. A soft opening sounds like, "I appreciate everything you've been doing." Or, "I might be wrong, but can we talk about something?" Or, "I want to understand you better." Or, "Let's explore this together." Soft beginnings create open endings. Principle 4. Let people say yes as early as possible. There is a beautiful psychological rhythm in conversation. When someone says yes, their mind opens.
When someone says no, their mind closes. You want the person's emotional momentum moving forward, not backward. So start with things they agree with. Find common ground. Begin with shared values, shared goals, shared emotions. For example, instead of saying, "You didn't do this correctly," you try, "You and I both care about doing this the right way, don't we?" And they say, "Yes." Then the conversation flows. This isn't manipulation, it's harmony. You're aligning energies instead of clashing with them. Principle 5. Let the other person talk more than you. Most people don't need advice. What they truly need is to express themselves, to be heard, to share their feelings, to release their thoughts, and to feel understood. When people talk, they reveal fears, hopes, intentions, motivation, the root of the conflict, what they really want. By listening deeply, you gain information that no amount of talking could give you. Remember this: the more someone talks, the more they feel connected to you. And the less you talk, the more influence you actually have. Principle 6. Let people feel the idea is theirs. One of the most effective and gentle forms of influence is making people feel ownership over the solution. People support what they help create. They fight what is forced onto them. So, instead of telling them what to do, guide them to discover it themselves. How to do this softly? Ask questions. Encourage reflection. Gently suggest possibilities. Invite them to explore options. Let them choose the path. When the idea feels like theirs, they will protect it, commit to it, feel proud of it, follow through naturally. This is influence with respect, not control. Principle 7. Try to see things from the other person's point of view. This principle requires humility, softness, and patience, but it has enormous power. Every person sees the world through a different lens: their past, their wounds, their beliefs, their fears, their expectations, their history. When you step into their perspective, even for a moment, you transform the emotional climate. What this sounds like is, "I understand why you feel this way." Or, "If I were in your position, I might feel the same." Or, "Your perspective makes sense." These words are healing. They release tension instantly. They replace conflict with connection. Understanding doesn't mean agreeing. It means honoring their humanity. Principle 8. Be gentle with people's feelings, even when they're emotional. Nobody wants to feel judged when their emotions rise, even if they overreact, even if they're stressed, even if they're overwhelmed. Their feelings are real. And when someone is emotional, the worst thing you can do is dismiss them, tell them to calm down, judge their reaction, laugh at them, minimize their pain. Instead, do the opposite. Acknowledge, validate, listen, comfort, give space. A gentle phrase that works like magic: "I'm here for you. Take your time." Sometimes that's all a person needs to regain control of their emotions. Principle 9. Appeal to the good in people, their values, not their fears. Every person believes, deep down, that they are good, that they want to do the right thing, that they care. When you appeal to this inner goodness, they rise to meet it. For example, instead of saying, "You're being irresponsible," say, You've always been someone who tries to do things well. I appreciate that about you. Or, I know you value doing the right thing. That's why I wanted to talk to you calmly. This approach inspires, encourages, activates dignity, and motivates without pressure. People want to live up to the version of themselves you reflect back to them. Principle 10. Gently challenge people with encouragement, not criticism. People grow when they feel supported, not attacked. If someone is capable of more, but they're falling short, you don't need harshness, you need kindness. The soft way, I believe in your potential. You're better than you think. You've made progress. Let's take the next step together.
I see something great in you, even if you don't see it yet. These words don't pressure, they empower. And empowerment is the purest form of influence. Quiet influence, the power of gentleness. Now, let's gather the threads together. Influence is not about winning debates, proving points, showing power, dominating others, or correcting mistakes publicly. Influence is about understanding, empathy, patience, humility, compassion, presence, respect. True influence doesn't feel like influence. It feels like safety. It feels like trust. It feels like being understood. When people trust your intentions, they follow you naturally. When they feel respected, they listen. When they feel valued, they cooperate. Gentle influence is the only influence that lasts. A soft reflection before ending part 3. Every relationship in your life, with friends, partners, co-workers, strangers, becomes more peaceful when you stop trying to control and start trying to understand. The moment you release the need to be right, the moment you let go of ego, the moment you choose harmony over victory, you unlock a different kind of power, the power of quiet influence. People will remember how you made them feel. People will trust you with their thoughts. People will open their hearts to you. People will naturally respect your voice. Why? Because your influence comes from kindness, not force. And kindness is unforgettable.
Part 4. How to become a gentle leader people admire, trust, and willingly follow. You've learned how to understand people more deeply, how to make them feel valued, and how to influence them with respect and kindness. Now, in this final part, we'll explore something powerful yet quiet. How to lead without force, inspire without pressure, and guide people in a way that touches their hearts. Take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin this final chapter.
The quiet path to leadership through respect, warmth, and sincerity. Leadership is not about giving orders. It's not about having authority, being loud, or being impressive. Real leadership is emotional, not positional. People follow those they trust, those who make them feel safe, those who help them grow, those who treat them with dignity. This part will show you how to become that kind of leader. In your family, in your work, in your friendships, or even in your quiet personal life. Principle 1. Begin with appreciation, not demands. Every human being wants to feel valued before being corrected. When you start by acknowledging someone's effort, you soften the path toward improvement. Imagine telling someone, "You're wrong, do it differently." This immediately triggers defensiveness, anger, embarrassment, resistance. Now imagine saying instead, I truly appreciate the effort you put in. There's just one little thing I'd love to explore together. This creates openness, calm, trust, cooperation. The difference is in the emotional climate. Why it works? Humans accept guidance only when they don't feel attacked. When you lead with appreciation, you protect their sense of dignity, and dignity is the foundation of respect. Principle 2. Guide with questions instead of commands. People dislike being told what to do, but they love participating in solutions. When you ask questions, you're not just communicating, you're empowering. Try questions like, "What do you think would make this even better?" Or, "How do you feel about this approach?" "What would you change if you were in charge?" "Do you have ideas we can explore?" "How do you think we can move forward in a good way?" Questions activate the mind. Commands shut it down. And when someone feels involved, they feel responsible. They take ownership. They commit. This is gentle leadership. Principle 3. Protect people's self-respect, even when they're struggling. Everyone fails. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments of weakness. A great leader understands this deeply. When you attack someone during their low moment, they never forget the pain. But if you protect them, if you help them stand again with dignity, if you show compassion instead of judgment, they never forget you. What this looks like? Correcting privately, never publicly. Separating the mistake from the person. Focusing on solutions, not blame. Encouraging instead of criticizing. Offering support instead of shame. You don't just help people improve, you help them grow. And growth is the deepest form of respect. Principle 4. Praise even the smallest progress. People bloom when they feel noticed, and most progress is invisible. Small steps, tiny changes, quiet effort. But when you point it out, even gently, you light up their confidence. For example, "I noticed you've been trying really hard lately." Or, "You're improving in ways you may not even see yet." Your consistency is inspiring. "You handled that situation better than before." These words create transformation, not because they are dramatic, but because they are sincere. People don't need perfection. They need encouragement. Principle 5. Create confidence, not fear. Leadership built on fear collapses the moment uncertainty appears. Leadership built on confidence grows stronger under pressure. Fear creates silence, resentment, hidden mistakes, fake obedience, emotional distance. Confidence creates trust, honesty, loyalty, creativity, effort. If you want people to follow you by choice, not obligation, you must make them feel safe. How to build confidence? Believe in people before they believe in themselves. Highlight strengths before weaknesses. Give second chances. Offer support without judgment. Celebrate progress. When you lift others, they rise higher than they imagined, and they will always remember who helped them rise. Principle 6. Speak to people's better nature. Every person has two sides, the fearful side and the noble side. Which one they express depends on how they're approached. If you treat someone with suspicion or negativity, they respond with defensiveness. If you treat them with trust and belief, they step into their better self. For example, instead of saying, "You forgot your responsibility again," say, "You're someone who takes your duties seriously. That's why I trust you with this." See the difference? You're not shaming them.
You're reminding them who they can be. People rise to meet the version of themselves you reflect. This is not manipulation, it's inspiration. Principle 7. Create a reputation they feel proud to maintain. If you want someone to behave better, don't criticize their flaws. Highlight their strengths. When you tell someone, "I know you're someone who brings peace to the team," they will try to live up to that image. If you say, "You're reliable, I trust your judgment," they will protect that reputation. Humans are deeply motivated by identity. Show them a positive mirror, and they will naturally want to match it. This is not manipulation, it's inspiration. Principle 8. Correct with kindness, suggest with warmth. When someone needs to improve or change a behavior, the way you deliver the message determines everything. Harsh correction breaks the spirit. Soft correction elevates it. Gentle correction sounds like, "Here's something small we can improve together." Or, "I have a suggestion that might help you shine even more." Or, "What if we try this approach? I think it could bring great results." Or, "You're doing well. This is just a tiny adjustment." People accept guidance when they feel respected. Kindness opens doors, force cannot. Principle 9. Celebrate what they do right, not only what they do wrong. Most people only hear what they're lacking. Fix this, change that, not good enough. But when someone celebrates their strengths, their energy transforms. Try saying things like, "You handled that situation with such grace." Or, "You're consistently bring calm energy to others." "Your growth is visible." Or, "You have talent. Don't underestimate yourself." When you appreciate people for what they are doing right, they naturally do even better. Encouragement is fuel for the human spirit. Principle 10. Inspire with your actions, not your words. In the end, the most powerful influence is example. People don't follow words, they follow behavior. They follow kindness, patience, stability, honesty, humility, calm presence, responsibility, respect. The more you embody these qualities, the more quietly influential you become. Leadership built on character never fades. The quiet power you carry within you. Let's gather everything together. Throughout this journey, you've learned how to understand people more deeply, to connect with warmth, to influence gently, to lead with compassion. You've learned that people respond to appreciation, respect, sincerity, empathy, dignity. Not pressure, not force, not criticism. And you've learned something even more important. You have the ability to make others feel valued, understood, and uplifted simply by the way you approach them. This is leadership. Not loud, not dramatic, not forceful, but quiet, soft, deep, life-changing. A final reflection before we close this journey. You don't need to be perfect to be influential. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need power to inspire others. You simply need a kind heart, a calm presence, a sincere spirit, a respectful voice. These qualities make you unforgettable. They make people trust you. They make people open up to you. They make people admire you. They make people grow because of you. And the most beautiful part, when you uplift others, you uplift yourself. This journey is not about controlling people. It's about becoming the kind of person people want to follow.
a gentle leader, a warm soul, a quiet source of light. Namaste, my friends. See you soon.